Hi there. I'm Jocelyn Skillman. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and clinical supervisor, and I want to introduce you to my brilliant idea for assistive relational intelligence tools. These are very curated strategic tools that will live inside of a text chat, human to human. These tools are much like relational tools we get in therapy, communication tools to support our interpersonal skills building. But these tools are actually supported by large language models or artificial intelligence. And the idea is that when you create very scoped large language model behavior, it can actually serve human communication. And it goes against the grain of what we are seeing a lot of in terms of innovation of direct bot talk, meaning large language models performing relationality and creating what I call synthetic dyads. Dyad meaning the conversational space between two voices, one human, and in this case, one a synthetic large language model. That would be a bot we're talking to. Let's say if you're talking to Claude or ChatGPT or a replica persona. Those spaces, I think, can be extremely problematic for users. And we've seen this with cases of suicidality, psychosis, and delusional spaces, and mania, different mental health experiences that are happening in the context of conversation with large language models. Because we are so wired to become inflamed by language. It moves us, it stirs us, and we automatically project onto language acts, the linguistic acts, and we also experience a flood of attachment that arises in us when we experience words like, I see you, I'm with you. We're really just built for that. And when a large language model says those things in text or in voice, our systems naturally relax. We get flooded with hormones that say, I'm being held. But we're not. We're not actually being physically held. We're not psychodynamically or biologically co-regulating with those linguistic acts. And while they could potentially create a sense of being seen and held, there's certain risks, especially given that large language models that really fundamentally are parroting back content, and they're like an autofill machine. So if I'm starting to talk about my concerns about the weather, it's going to talk to me about the weather. But when I talk to my neighbor, my human neighbor, about the weather, they might be like, hey, have you noticed that the garbage truck didn't come? That's a completely novel speech act from their large language model living inside their head and their life. And really, healthy relational spaces are infused with that kind of unpredictability. The spaces for critique, for rupture, and for encountering what's completely novel and undiscovered in the other. Back to assistive relational intelligence tools. I am a language lover. I love large language models, and I believe that potentially our own mental and emotional health could be served by applying large language models very strategically to be of service to human connection. So what I'm developing is an app called Tend Messages, or Tend and Send. And many of us are already using ChatGPT or Claude, large language models, to support us translating messages or even in some authorship experiences. So let's say I'm like, gosh, I don't really know how I want to say this to my boss. I'm going to chat with ChatGPT, give it, and then I'll get it back. How can I say this in a more nuanced way? Or what's that word again? There's this participatory act we're doing with the medium, the new medium of large language models, which brings up a bunch of different issues beyond just what it means to talk to a bot. It also brings up, what does it mean to share authorship? And Tend Messages, or Tend and Send, is a text-to-text platform where you are actually talking with your partner, your neighbor, your mom or dad, your caregiver, your nanny, whoever it is. And they are talking on it too. And there's a whole cultural norming and transparency activity that I want to help nourish, where we are honoring the truth that, yes, we get assistive support from large language models, and potentially that could infuse our relational spaces with others with more compassion, with skills building and communication. And also we can use it when we're leveraging that with trust and transparency. So if I use Tend and Send to translate a message, first of all, that message is translated by a very strategic, curated prompt that I've engineered that's rooted in nonviolent communication, which is an incredible system of communication designed by Marshall Rosenberg, If you haven't read it or encountered it, you must. It's so fabulous. It really centers that effective communication is rooted in empathy, compassion, and the reality of us all sharing universal human needs, universal feelings and needs that arise within us in communication. And when we become inflamed or dysregulated, we're having feelings communicating to us about our needs and how we need our needs to be met interpersonally. So the prompt that I have your full authentic self-expression go through is infused with guidance through the medium of nonviolent communication, meaning, let's say I'm like, screw you, Hank, you're always leaving your dirty socks on the floor. You just write your full self-expressive text without thinking twice, and then press tend, and it's going to siphon your language and try to retain your voice, your truth, but translate just like a helpful, fully operational nervous system who's not flooded might be able to. So that tending on your message pulls nonviolent communication. It's infused with compassion, love, and self-expression that is honest, but also has a fighting chance to stop the fighting. Then when you send it, first of all, okay, you get it tended, meaning it's translated back to you. You can decide if you edit it. You can decide, I don't like this, it's not my voice, and I don't want to use it. You can read it and see what someone else who was more regulated in this moment might say. Maybe this higher part of you, if it could reach Marshall Rosenberg's wisdom, or a therapist's nuance, or a Zen Buddhist master's capacity to infuse compassion and curiosity in times of distress and rupture. That would exist, and you can decide, do I want to use it? Do I want to change the phrasing at all? But also, while your message is being tended by this prompt, you also see little bubbles of text arise under your self-expression that share perspective, feelings, and needs that are arising in your language act. So let's say I say, screw you, Hank, you always leave your socks around. My text would be reflected back, and it might say right below it, I wonder if you're feeling angry. Are you needing a sense of control over your environment? Are you feeling a need for respect? Are you feeling irritated? So this act of curiosity and reflecting of feelings and needs is fundamental to how we grow interpersonally and how we also downshift and experience being joined and regulated, co-regulating with other nervous systems. As a parent myself, like when my child is flipping their lid because they're not getting what they want, at my best, I'm reflecting back, wow, you look really mad. Are you really wanting the yellow cup, not the red cup? Do you want to have more choice and freedom in this moment? Are you needing a nap? Are you feeling really tired? Like, these acts of curiosity, this is the hallmark of human community and connection. It's like, it's what we need. We need it. And some of us aren't getting it, and some of us didn't get it. So my dream is that the Tend and Send app would be like an experience of this reflective support when we most need it. You might not always use your tend button, but everything you text, you're also experiencing assistive relational support. Now, I'm not sure if this works, and I'm not sure if this kind of behavior in a large language model actually will help a person cultivate longitudinal skills or increased distress tolerance, or all these fundamentals of human relational health. But I do think it's a safer and cool way to explore the leveraging of large language models. Also, there's so many fun things we can do beyond just the tend button or the feelings and needs reflections. Imagine you're in your Tend app and you're just texting your husband or whoever, and then there's a explore and reflect button that's like, has a prompt that is guiding to be assessing psychodynamic like patterns over the past 3 months. So I could say, in the last 3 months, what are the core themes I continue to be bringing? And then imagine being able to share that in a conversation with self and other. Maybe there's a private journaling tool where you can get notes on what you tend to be ruminating about with a partner, or consistently there's these certain needs that seem to not be met, a time frame. There could be so many different strategic tools that you personally pull into a curated suite of access points. Just like how in therapy sometimes we are like, what do you have in your toolkit to support your regulation? You have your square breathing, like ability to support your nervous system through breathing techniques, or a body scan or a cognitive reframing skill. These are all tools, and the large language models can do the same thing. They could be curated tools that live inside human-to-human communication. This is my idea for assistive relational intelligence, and I'm very honored to present it to you. I hope you enjoyed learning about some of my ideas and thoughts, and I'd love to continue to share and explore and innovate. I think that therapists and clinical and mental health and relational specialized folks, social workers, teachers, these are the people who have incredible access to wisdom and lived experience supporting relational health. And if we treat large language model and AI really like a medium, like a new art medium that we can sculpt and leverage effectively and in new ways, I think we can make some really cool things, and that we can also mitigate risks of the ways that they can mislead and trance us out. So thank you for your time. Bye for now.